It's a common sort of like problem we have now, right? Where if you want to buy a house, it seems that you need to sell a kidney to kind of fund it. So this week, you and Esther kind of talked about how the new housing plan, new government, new Malaysia, blah, 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 will actually address that. So what's the main things actually that the people you talked to said that we should address?
Okay, we don't know what the national housing plan will have yet. The industry players actually have some idea, but they also have things that they want to be included in the national housing plan. Of course, for buyers like you and I, most people just want houses to be affordable.
Yeah, exactly.
And from what statistics, from the statistics, they are not.
Yeah, but the thing is, who's really to kind of blame for the problem? Because the one thing that points out was that everybody points fingers at everybody else. Property developers say banks are too tight-fisted. Banks are saying we're just doing our job, and then everybody just points at property developers and saying you guys are just pricing us out of the market. Is there a villain somewhere?
I guess depending on who you ask.
Yeah.
But everyone actually have their own point. And the problem in Malaysia is actually not as simple as people always compare Malaysia to Singapore.
Yeah.
But Singapore, basically the government owns all the land. And in Malaysia, you have state land with the states, and it's actually a major source of income for the states. So when you expect the state government to give up land for affordable housing, it also in a way takes away some of their income source. And of course, people would argue that basically the state government should also take care of people in the states, but it's
difficult because not all the states have like natural resources like Sarawak or Sabah or Terengganu that can actually rely on that. So they are loath to give it up, aren't they?
In some ways, and some of states here could be opposition states. So it could be, and we did some of the numbers, and land-related income can really be more than 50%.
So
it's a very major income source for the state, and it's not just housing is just one of the issues that the state government needs to deal with. So, and in terms of banks, they have their balance sheet, and you can't blame them. There is a certain number of so-called prudential limits that Bank Negara needs them to comply with, and they have to comply.
Yeah, okay, I understand that. So all of this just complicates and muddies the waters further. So as you and me, normal home buyers, you did put up some theoretical ways how we can own a house now. And one of them you said, is having somebody like EPF come in. So how does that work? Because I was trying to figure out whether it's a sale or leaseback, or they're your partner in this. I mean, like...
Okay, it could be a combination of all, or one or the other. The theory is simple in the sense that, for instance, now if you don't have enough income, you might get your brother in as a guarantor. So the bank, looking at your brother's balance sheet, so to speak, or earnings capability, or his and they think you then would be able to afford that loan that on your own it's a little bit out of your reach now. So and of course when we think about this, usually people talk about affordable housing, but for some young professionals, basically maybe they might not be able to afford that $1 million, $2 million home today, but they could in maybe 5-10 years. So if they think that in 5 or 10 years that 1 or 2 million home is going to be 3 or 4 million, then it might be worth their while to consider something today. And that home, if you have a financial partner, so to speak, somebody like the EPF who would have the balance sheet and they are looking for steady income stream. So I'm not saying that EPF is interested. I'm just saying in theory, because people like them, they actually need or they actually look for a steady income stream. And in theory, this kind of home loans can be a source, can be structured to be something that works for a financial institution like the EPF.
What will your hope be for this National Housing Plan?
My hope is that if everyone who wants a house and can theoretically afford them should have the chance. But for people whose income just can't afford a house, then the government should have some sort of policy so that these people, they would have the security of a home.
For more on the stories, pick up a copy of The Edge Weekly at all good newsstands.